Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we shall prove a very important result, which is Cauchy's residue theorem, or simply it is called residue theorem also. Mainly, Cauchy's residue theorem deals with evaluation of a line integral over any closed curve or over any cycle. Right? So first we shall see the statement. Suppose f of z is analytic in a region omega except for isolated singularities ages. So given f of z is an analytic function in region omega except for isolated singularities ages. That means this region contains some of the isolated singularities of f of z. So except at those points, at all the remaining points, f is analytic. So f is analytic in omega except for some isolated singularities ages. So singularities means you know that singularities are those points at which a function fails to be analytic. So there are points in omega at which f is not analytic. They are called singularities, and moreover they are given to be isolated singularities. Right? So f is analytic in the region omega and it contains some of the isolated singularities. So f is not analytic at those points which are isolated singularities. Then 1 by 2 pi I integral f of z dz over any cycle gamma is equal to summation eta gamma aj into residue of f of z at z is equal to aj. So for every cycle gamma which is homologous to 0 with respect to omega and not passing through any of the isolated singularities ages. So by this equation, we can clearly observe that, so we are attempting to evaluate a line integral over any cycle. So cycle means it is a collection of closed curves. So if you take some closed curves together, it is called a cycle. So we are attempting to integrate a function over a cycle or over a closed curve. So using the residue of the function f of z at the isolated singularities aj. So Cauchy's residue theorem will give you a method to evaluate line integral over any closed curve or over any cycle. So where we also use the index of a point with respect to a cycle or a closed curve. Right? So first of all, so the relation is 1 by 2 pi I integral f of z dz over gamma is equal to summation eta gamma aj into residue of f of z at the isolated singularity aj. The summation runs over j. And here gamma is any cycle homologous to 0 with respect to omega. That means index of any point in the complement of omega with respect to gamma is 0. And this gamma is not passing through any of the edges. So gamma is actually a cycle. So actually we cannot draw gamma perfectly because gamma is a cycle. That means it is sum of closed curves. So just for geometrical idea, I'll take gamma as this. So suppose this is gamma. Gamma is inside omega. Gamma is inside the region omega, but it is not passing through any of the isolated singularities ages of f of z. So now we shall prove this result. So first, before going to the proof, so recall the concept of index of a point with respect to a closed curve. So what is index? So for any closed curve gamma, so index of A with respect to gamma is the winding number of gamma around the point A, around the point A. So basically, so index of a point A with respect to any closed curve gamma will be non-zero if gamma encloses the point A, and index of that point A with respect to gamma will be zero if A lies outside gamma. So for all points enclosed by gamma, so index will be non-zero. And in particular, that index will be nothing but the number of times gamma winds up around the point. So for example, if I consider the circle centered at some point A with radius R, or centered at some Z0, So I'll call this as gamma. Now my closed curve is the circle. My closed curve gamma is the circle. Now for any point A inside the circle, so this is the circle, these points form the circle with center Z0, radius R. So if I consider any point A inside the circle, so this circle winds up around the point A. So index of A with respect to gamma is non-zero. We will say it is non-zero. So index of a point with respect to any closed curve is non-zero whenever that curve encloses the point A. And in particular, that index will be nothing but number of times the curve goes around that point. So if it is a circle, so circle is a simple curve, that is it goes one round. So just if I start from this point, so it will go one round around A, so index will be 1. Suppose if the point A lies outside the circle, then index will be obviously 0. So index will be 0 for all the points which are outside the curve. For example, if I take gamma to be like this, then for any point here, if A is here, so we can observe, if I start the curve from this point, so it goes like this, it comes here, and once again it goes around again with different path. So we can say this curve, if I take this as gamma winds up around the point A 2 times. So index of A with respect to gamma is 2. So like this. So basically index will be non-zero for all points enclosed by the closed curve. Index will be 0 for all points outside the closed curve. And in particular, index will be nothing but the number of times the curve winds up around that particular point. So this is the basic idea of index of a point with respect to closed curve. And note that index can only be defined with respect to closed curve, not with respect to any arc. So with respect to any basic arc, we cannot define index. So index can only be defined with a closed curve. And also index cannot be defined for all points on the arc. If there is, suppose this is some point alpha, which is on the curve, then index of alpha with respect to gamma is not defined. So index of a point is defined only if it is inside the curve or outside the curve. If it is on the curve, index is not defined, right? So also note that index is not defined. Index is not defined for all points on the closed curve gamma, right? On the closed curve gamma. And also, if gamma 1 and gamma 2 are any two closed curves, then index of A with respect to gamma 1 plus gamma 2. right? So gamma 1 is one closed curve, gamma 2 is another closed curve. So if we consider the sum gamma 1 plus gamma 2, it represents sum of two closed curves. So it is termed as a cycle. So if you want to define index of a point with respect to sum of closed curves, it is simply sum of the indices with respect to the closed curves. So index of A with respect to gamma 1 plus gamma 2 is index of A with respect to gamma 1 plus index of A with respect to gamma 2. And also index of A with respect to C into gamma, where C is any scalar. Then it is C into index of A with respect to gamma. So these two are the linear properties of the index of a point. So these are the points which you have to remember before going to the proof. So these are the preliminaries. So now we shall start the proof, right? So what is given? So in the hypothesis, first of all, they have given, so let f of z be an analytic function. Let it be an analytic function in a region omega. In a region omega, except for isolated singularities, ages, right? So this is given. So f of z is analytic in some region omega, except for some points, and those points are the isolated singularities of f. Now consider omega dash to be obtained from omega after removing the isolated singularities of f from omega. Then as omega is a region, so after removing these points, the set which we obtain is also a region. So omega dash is also a region. And now let gamma be any cycle in omega such that gamma is homologous to 0 with respect to omega. That is, so gamma is homologous to 0 with respect to omega means, so it does not encloses any points of the complement. So index of A with respect to gamma is 0 for all points A of the complement. That is, in other words, gamma will not enclose any points of the complement of omega. And so gamma is such a curve and not passing through, and this cycle gamma is not passing through any of the isolated singularities ages, right? So that is, so this is, this is the region omega. So this region omega contains some isolated singularities ages of the function f, right? And in omega we have considered some cycle also. Gamma is a cycle, so just for representation purpose I am taking this curve, closed curve, as gamma, but it is literally could be sum of closed curves. So just for representation purpose I am taking gamma in this way, right? So gamma is a closed curve, gamma is a cycle in omega, but it does not passes through any of the edges. So what that means, so all the points of gamma are the points of omega except aj. So they are all points of omega except aj, so that all the points of gamma will be in omega dash. Then gamma is a cycle in omega dash, right? Now to prove the result, so what we have to prove, integral f of z dz over gamma is summation eta gamma aj into residue of f of z at z is equal to aj. So we need the idea of these indices. So as I told earlier, so index will be 0 for all points not enclosed by the curve, and index will be non-zero for all points enclosed by the curve. So as we have the summation of these terms, so suppose if gamma does not enclose some isolated singularity aj, then with respect to that isolated singularity, so index will be 0. Suppose gamma does not enclose aj, then index will be 0. So that 0 into anything will be 0. So that particular term will be 0 in the summation. So in a summation, so 0 terms are negligible, can be negligible as they does not affect the value of the summation. So as we have summation of these terms, if any of the term is 0, then we can neglect those terms. That means we can concentrate only on those edges. We can concentrate only those edges with respect to which the index is non-zero. If for some edges index is 0 means, then the whole term will be 0 in this right hand side summation, so that term can be neglected. So no need to take that term into count. So we can neglect that term. So we shall just concentrate only on those edges with respect to which index is non-zero. So in this region omega, so we have the cycle gamma, and it also contains some of the isolated singularities. So some of the isolated singularities could be inside gamma, and some of the isolated singularities could be outside gamma. So for all points, for all isolated singularities inside gamma, index is non-zero, and for all isolated singularities outside gamma, index is 0. Index is 0, right? So we shall concentrate only those isolated singularities which are inside gamma, and we shall claim eta gamma aj, that is index of the isolated singularity aj with respect to gamma could be non-zero only for finitely many values of j. Finitely many values of j. So we shall claim that index of aj with respect to gamma is non-zero only for finitely many values of j. So that means I am asserting that this cycle gamma can enclose only finitely many isolated singularities ages. I'm asserting that there could be only finitely many isolated singularities inside gamma. So we shall prove this claim at the end. Now, time being, assume this claim that gamma can enclose only finitely many isolated singularities with respect to which the index is non-zero. So we shall take, so first, suppose the claim holds. So for time being, assume the claim. So that means if claim holds, that shows that gamma can enclose only finitely many edges. So I'll take those edges as, let A1, A2, so on AN be the only isolated singularities of F enclosed by cycle gamma. So these are the only isolated singularities which are enclosed by gamma. Now, for each j from 1 to n, since aj is an isolated singularity of F, there exists a positive delta j such that f of z is analytic in the deleted neighborhood of AJ with radius delta J. So that means AJ is an isolated singularity, means as the name indicates, it is isolated. Isolated singularity means there is a neighborhood around AJ which do not contain any other singularity. So there is a neighborhood around AJ. There is a neighborhood around AJ in which there are no singularities, means there are no singularities, means so at all those points F has to be analytic, right? So F will be analytic in this neighborhood except at AJ, because AJ is basically a singularity. So F will be analytic in this neighborhood except at AJ. That is, F will be analytic in the deleted neighborhood modulus of Z minus AJ greater than 0, less than delta J, right? So note that we have already observed that any deleted neighborhood is an annulus, right? Because this is a point circle. The center of the circle can be considered as a point circle, that is circle with radius 0, and we have the boundary. So this forms the circle with radius delta J. So this is the point circle and this is the circle with radius delta J. Both have the same center AJ. That is, these two forms concentric circles and the points between these two circles. So it forms a annulus. So any deleted neighborhood is basically a annulus, and any annulus is the doubly connected region. That means it is a multiply connected region of connectivity 2, right? So now in this deleted neighborhood of AJ, consider a circle with center AJ, radius less than delta J. So let CJ be any circle about AJ, that is centered at AJ, contained in the deleted neighborhood is modulus of Z minus AJ greater than 0, delta less than delta J. So I'll consider circle CJ centered at AJ so that it is contained in the deleted neighborhood. So in the brackets, so note that the annulus or the deleted neighborhood is a doubly connected region. And any circle in this doubly connected region forms a homology basis. We have already seen this. Any circle in this doubly connected region forms a homology basis. So doubly connected region means what? It is a multiply connected region of connectivity 2. So it has connectivity 2 means any homology basis will contain only one element, and in particular if you consider any circle, it acts as a homology basis element for, or homology basis for this. Now I have considered CJ to be circle in this deleted neighborhood. So CJ acts as a homology basis for this deleted neighborhood. So moreover, the singleton set CJ forms a homology basis for the deleted neighborhood modulus of Z minus AJ greater than 0, less than delta J. So consider the integral of f of z over the circle CJ, over the closed curve CJ. As CJ is a homology basis element, so integral of f of z over homology basis element will give you the period. We know that. So take it as PJ. So this is the period of f of z with respect to the homology basis element CJ. Let define Rj to be Pj by 2 pi I. Define Rj to be Pj by 2 pi I. Then we can observe that the function f of z minus Rj by z minus aj. So this function has the integral over Cj to be equal to 0. So we can verify it. So integral of f of z minus rj by z minus aj over Cj. So it will be integral f of z dz over Cj minus rj into integral dz by z minus aj over Cj. So the first term is nothing but Pj minus Rj into, so this integral value is actually 2 pi I. So we can verify it. So Pj minus, we have taken Rj to be Pj by 2 pi I into 2 pi I, so that the value will be equal to 0. So that means the constant Rj helps this function to have the period 0, because so integral of this function over the homology basis element will give you the period. So this is nothing but period of this function, So Rj, so we have chosen Rj, we have chosen the constant Rj in such a way that the function f of z minus Rj by z minus aj over the homology basis element gives you 0. That is, the period of this function becomes 0. So in that process, the constant Rj is helping. So by our previous theory, any constant which does this work is called the residue of the function f of z at the isolated singularity aj. So that is Rj is the residue of the function f of z at the isolated singularity aj. Symbolically we write Rj is the residue of the function f of z at the isolated singularity aj, right? So I have done this for each j. Right. Now consider the cycle. Gamma minus summation eta gamma aj into Cj, j running from 1 to n. So which is a cycle in omega dash, because gamma is a cycle in omega dash. So omega dash is what? So this is the region omega which contains some isolated singularities ages. So omega dash is omega minus ages. So if you remove isolated singularities from omega, the resulting region is omega dash. So as gamma is not passing through any edges, so gamma will be entirely contained in omega dash. And what is Cj? So if you consider any isolated singularity aj, the circle around the point aj, which is entirely contained in a neighborhood in which f is completely analytic, right? So we have considered Cj to be circle which is contained in the deleted neighborhood of aj, in which there are no other singularities. So there are no other singularities means, so there will be no edges. So there will be no edges on Cj also. So all these curves are in omega dash as they are not passing through edges, right? Now we assert that, so this cycle is actually, just I'll expand it. So what is this cycle is gamma minus, so if I expand this, so the first term is eta gamma a1 into c1 plus eta gamma a2 into c2 plus so on eta gamma an into cn. So this is the curve, this is the cycle which we are talking about. So this is the cycle which we are talking about. So gamma minus eta gamma an into c1 plus eta gamma a2 into c2 plus so on eta gamma an into cn, where we can observe these indices. These indices are nothing but integers, because index of these points, so by the claim we have assumed that A1, A2, An are the only isolated singularities which are enclosed by gamma. So only these indices are non-zero for the isolated singularities. So these are the non-zero integers. So each of these index is a non-zero integer, and that number indicates the winding number of gamma around A1. So in any case, these indices will be positive integers, right? So it is eta gamma A1 times C1, eta gamma A2 times C2, like this. So this indicates, so eta gamma A1 times C1 means C1 added eta gamma A1 times, C2 added eta gamma A2 times, like this. So gamma is basically a cycle. That means it is sum of closed curves. So this is also sum of closed curves, like this. So basically this, the curve which we have considered is a cycle, as it is sum of closed curves. Sum of closed curves. Now we shall show that this cycle is homologous to 0 with respect to the region omega dash. So then we assert that this cycle gamma minus summation eta gamma aj with respect to cycle Cj. So this is homologous to 0 with respect to the region omega dash. So that is we are asserting that, so index of any point in the complement of omega dash is 0 with respect to this cycle, right? So we can prove this easily. In fact, let A be any point of omega dash complement. So for any point A in omega dash complement, so the index of that point is 0 with respect to this cycle, right? So let A belongs to complement of omega dash. So A is in the complement of omega dash means A will not be in omega dash. So what is omega dash? It is omega minus ages. So A is not in this difference means then, so A will not be in omega, or A is not equal to any of the ages, right? So in these two cases, we have to prove index of A with respect to that arc is 0. Okay, so now we shall divide that into cases. So case one, if A is not a point of omega. So if, so omega is this, right? So gamma is inside omega and all ages are inside omega. So that around aj we have considered Cj. So all Cj's are also inside omega. Now point A is outside omega. So in this case, what will be the index? So consider the index of A with respect to the cycle gamma minus index of aj with respect to gamma into Cj. So it is expanded as index of, so here we have sum of closed curves. So as we have recalled earlier, so if we have index of a point with respect to sum of closed curves, it will be index of A with respect to gamma 1 plus index of A with respect to gamma 2. Here also we have to do the same thing. So this is one cycle and these are the closed curves. So I have to split the index. So index of A with respect to gamma, or we can write one more step here. So what is this curve? So gamma minus eta gamma aj into Cj minus, okay. So if I expand the summation, so first term is eta gamma a1 into C1, eta gamma a2 into C2 minus so on, eta gamma an into Cn, right? So this is what the curve is, right? So we have to find the index of A with respect to this one. So this is one curve, this is one curve, this is one curve, this is one curve. So I have to split the index now. So index of A with respect to gamma minus index of A with respect to this curve. So eta gamma A1 into C1 minus index of A with respect to eta gamma A2 into C2, like this. So what is this? So on minus eta gamma an cn. So with respect to this index. So this is equal to, now we can use this property. Index of A with respect to a scalar multiple of gamma. So it is C into index of A with respect to gamma. So these can be considered as scalar. So you can take that outside. So that will be equal to index of A with respect to gamma minus, so index of A1 with respect to gamma is a scalar. So into index of A with respect to C1 minus index of A2 with respect to gamma is a constant. So kept as is outside, into index of A with respect to C2. So on index of AN with respect to gamma into index of A with respect to Cn. So this will be the term. Now you can write this on the summation. So eta gamma A minus, so you can write the summation like this. So eta gamma Aj into eta gamma Cj into A. So this is what the index will be. So we started from here, right? So this is equal to this one. So this step is equal to this, this is equal to this, and so on, equal to this. Now observe that as A is outside omega, as A is outside omega and gamma is inside omega, so index of A with respect to gamma will be 0. And also Cj's are also inside omega only, but A is outside. So Cj cannot enclose the point A. So index of A with respect to Cj will also be 0. So this will be 0 and this each term is 0. So what it means? So the resulting will be 0. So that means whenever A is outside omega, index of that point A with respect to this cycle is obviously 0. Now the case 2. Case 2. If A is equal to Aj, if A is equal to Aj for some J, for some J. So now Aj's are also divided into two sets, right? So there are infinitely many, there could be infinitely many isolated singularities. Among that, only some are enclosed by gamma according to our claim, and remaining are outside gamma. So with respect to that, so we shall further divide this case into two. So if A is equal to Aj, where J is any index from 1 to n, for which for these indices only Aj is enclosed by index, the curve gamma. So if A is equal to Aj for J running for the values 1 to n, right? Then consider the index of A with respect to the cycle gamma minus eta gamma Aj into Cj. So as I expanded previously, in the same way, if I expand, it will be eta gamma A minus summation eta gamma Aj into eta gamma eta Cja, J running from 1 to n. So this will be the term. Now observe that. So now A is equal to aj, right? So eta gamma aj minus, so if I write j here, so this index will get coincide, so I'll change the index of the summation. So eta gamma ai, index of aj with respect to ci, I running from 1 to n. So just I'll change the index of the summation so that I can use the index j for a is equal to aj. So now observe that I is running from 1 to n and j is an index from 1 to n. So j is one of the value from 1 to n. I is taking all the values from 1 to n. Now, what could be the index of aj with respect to ci? So what is ci? So this is gamma. So if I consider the isolated singularity ai, around that there is a neighborhood in which there are no other singularities, and in this neighborhood we have considered the circle ci. So for any index I, ci is the circle around ai, and where is this circle? It is enclosed in the region or enclosed in the neighborhood in which there are no singularities. No singularities. So as there are no singularities in that neighborhood, there could be no singularities inside that circle except ai. So ai is the only singularity which lies inside the circle ci. So now here I is varying from 1 to n, j is a index from 1 to n. So whenever I is equal to j, then only this term will be non-zero. Then for all rest of the terms, so it is 0 actually. So that is, note that, so as Cj encloses only singularity aj, so the circle Cj encloses the only singularity aj, because in this region omega, or if I change the index here, so in place of j I'll use I. So ci, the circle ci encloses only singularity ai, because so if I consider the isolated singularity ai, around that we considered a neighborhood in which there are no other singularities. That means there are no other edges. So there is a neighborhood around ai there in which there are no other edges, in which we have considered the circle ci. So ci do not contain any other edges other than ai. ai is the only singularity enclosed by ci, and ci will not enclose any other singularities. So index of aj with respect to circle ci, is 0 if I is equal to j. If index I is different from j, as ci encloses only isolated singularity ai, aj will not be enclosed by ci, so index will be 0. And if I is equal to j, so cj, aj will be there. So index of aj with respect to cj, so it will enclose the point aj, so index will be 1. So this is the idea. So for all I not equal to j, index of ci aj is 0, and for I is equal to j, index is 1. So if I use this value, so index of aj with respect to gamma as it is, and in this summation, whenever I is equal to j, that term is non-zero. And what is that term? Eta gamma aj into eta cj aj, and where it is 1. So 1 into anything is itself. So eta gamma aj minus eta gamma aj. So it will be 0. So whenever a is equal to aj, where j is from 1 to n, so in that case also index of a is 0 with respect to the cycle. Now case 2, that is case B. So where we assume a is equal to aj, where j is different from these finitely many indices, for which gamma is enclosing this isolated singularities. So now a is equal to aj, where j is different from these indices. Then Then once again, consider the index of A with respect to the cycle gamma minus summation eta gamma aj cj, j running from 1 to n. Right now this is equal to, so as I expanded before, it will be eta gamma a minus summation eta gamma aj into eta cj a, j running from 1 to n. Now a is assumed to be equal to aj. Here if I change the index once again for this summation, so that it does not clash with this aj. So I running from 1 to n, eta gamma ai, index of aj with respect to ci, where j is different from 1 to up to n. Now first of all, as j is different from 1 to up to n, so index of gamma aj will be 0, because gamma encloses the only singularities a1, a2, so on, an. Only for these j values, index of eta gamma aj is non-zero. That is, gamma encloses only these isolated singularities, and the remaining isolated singularities are not enclosed by gamma, so index will be 0. And now, so I is running from 1 to n, and j is different from 1 to n. So I will never be equal to j. I will never be equal to j. So I is not equal to j. So whenever I matches with j, then only this index will be 1, and for all rest of the cases it is 0. We have seen earlier. So the same idea. So as I is not equal to j, each of the index will be 0. So the summation will be 0. So in this case also we'll get 0 only. So thus, so this is in the brackets. So this is just a reason to show that index of any point a in the complement of omega dash is 0 with respect to this cycle. Or in other words, the cycle in omega dash which we have considered do not encloses any point of the complement, so that I can say it is homologous to 0 mod omega. So now we have cycle gamma minus summation eta gamma aj into cj. So it is a cycle homologous to 0 mod omega dash, and f of z is completely analytic in omega dash. Now we shall use the general statement of Cauchy's theorem. So by general statement of Cauchy's theorem, so what we have, so integral of f of z dz over the cycle gamma minus eta gamma aj cj, j running from 1 to n, will be 0. So as f of z is analytic in omega dash, and this is a cycle homologous to 0 with respect to omega dash, just use the statement of general statement of Cauchy's theorem. So we will get this result. So which implies, so we have integral of sum of two closed curves or sum of two cycles. So it will be integral of f of z dz over gamma plus integral over minus summation eta gamma aj cj of f of z. So just I have splitted the integral this like this. So integral over gamma 1 plus gamma 2 is integral over gamma 1 plus integral over gamma 2. So I'm using this result here. So this is one closed curve. This is one cycle. This is one cycle. So I can split like this. So j running from 1 to n. So which implies, so integral f of z dz over gamma as it is. So integral over minus gamma is minus integral over gamma. So this minus gamma will be shifted here. So it will be minus integral f of z dz over the cycle eta gamma aj into cj, j running from 1 to n. So which will be equal to 0. Now take this negative term to the right hand side, so that integral f of z dz over gamma will be equal to integral f of z dz over the summation eta gamma aj into cj, j running from 1 to n. Once again, here we have integral over the sum, that is f of z dz. So what is this summation? So put j is equal to 1 to n. If I put j is equal to 1, eta gamma a1 c1 plus eta gamma a2 c2, so on, eta gamma cn, right? Okay. So now once again we have the integral over the sum of closed curves. Sum of closed curves, right? So just I made a mistake here. So it is, what is the second term? So eta gamma a2 into c2 plus so on, eta gamma an into cn, right? So this is equal to, we can split the integral. So it is integral f of z dz over eta gamma a1 c1 plus integral f of z dz over eta gamma a2 c2 plus so on, integral f of z dz over eta gamma an cn, right? Now once again, what is this? So eta gamma an is a positive integer, so it is eta gamma an times c1. So it is c1 plus c1 plus c1, how many times? Eta gamma a1 times. So it will be, so eta gamma a1 c1 times f of z dz. So it will be simply c1 plus c1 plus c1, how many times? Eta gamma a1 times of f of z dz. So once again, I can use the property integral over the sum of closed curves is sum of the integrals over the closed curves. So integral over c1 plus integral over c1 plus so on, how many times? Eta gamma a1 times. So this integral will be, so this will be equal to, eta gamma a1 integral over c1 plus eta gamma a2 integral over c2, like this. The last term is eta gamma an into integral of f of z over cn, that is integral of f of z dz over gamma is the summation eta gamma aj integral f of z dz over cj, j running from 1 to n. So this is what we will get, right? So just I have expanded it, that's it. So but after this step we can directly come to this step. So the middle steps are just illustration or expansion. So now what is cj? It is a homology basis element of the deleted neighborhood. So cj is a homology basis of the deleted neighborhood modulus of z minus aj greater than 0 and less than delta j. So as it is a homology basis element, integral of f of z over cj will be period, which we have taken it as pj. So this is equal to, so summation eta gamma aj. So this is nothing but pj, j running from 1 to n. So integral f of z dz over gamma will be this one. So now multiply 1 by 2 pi I on both sides. So 1 by 2 pi I integral f of z dz over gamma will be equal to 1 by 2 pi I summation eta gamma aj into pj, j running from 1 to n. So now we can take the constant 1 by 2 pi I inside. So summation eta gamma aj into Pj by 2 pi I. I combine 1 by 2 pi I with Pj. Now for every j, Pj by 2 pi I is what? It is Rj, right? It is Rj. Now what is Rj? So Rj is residue of the function f of z at the isolated singularity aj. So that is, we got, so 1 by 2 pi I integral f of z dz over gamma is equal to this one. So where we have taken only those j values for which the index of aj with respect to gamma is non-zero, because for all rest of the j values index is 0, right? So we have neglected all those j's. So where the summation runs for those j values for which AJs are enclosed by the cycle gamma. So only for j values for which the index is non-zero, so only those terms are considered in the summation. So the remaining terms are neglected as they become 0. So this is the Cauchy's residue theorem. Cauchy's residue theorem. So we got the result, right? 1 by 2 pi I integral f of the dz over gamma is summation eta gamma aj into residue of f of z as z is equal to aj, where j runs from 1 to n. And only we have taken those j values for which the index is non-zero. So this completes the theorem. Okay, so in proving the Cauchy's residue theorem, we assumed a claim. So what was that claim? So claim was eta gamma aj, that is index of aj with respect to gamma is non-zero only for finitely many values of j. So this was the claim which we have assumed in the proof. So we assume that gamma can enclose only finitely many edges. So infinitely many edges will be in fact outside gamma. So any cycle gamma can enclose only finitely many isolated singularities of the given analytic function f, right? So that we can calculate the residue for those finitely many isolated singularities, and we can apply that in the Cauchy's residue theorem. So now we shall prove that gamma can enclose only finitely many edges, right? So for that, let A be the set of all those complex numbers with respect to which the index is 0 with respect to gamma. So collect all those complex numbers which has index 0 with respect to gamma. Then we shall show that A is open. A is a open set in the metric space C. So to prove A is open, we have to prove every point of A is an interior point. So start with any point of A. Let Z0 be any point of A. So Z0 is a point of A means index of Z0 with respect to gamma is 0. So as index is defined for the point Z0, so it means that Z0 is not a point on gamma. So but then, right, Z0 will not be a point of gamma, or it will not be a point on gamma as the index is defined for that point. So it is not a point on gamma means, so it will not be a point of gamma means it will be a point of gamma complement, right? So Z0 belongs to gamma complement. Now recall that for any subset E of R2, E can be represented as disjoint union of E can be represented as disjoint union of maximal connected subsets, so which are called components of E. So any subset of R2, any subset E of R2 can be represented as disjoint union of maximal connected subsets of E, where maximal connected subsets of E are called components of E. So in simple words, any subset E of R2 can be expressed as disjoint union of its components. So where components are maximal connected sets. If E is open, then all its components are also open. All its components are open, right? So whenever E is an open set, when we express E as the disjoint union of maximal connected subsets, those subsets will also be open. So that components, which are called components, those components will be open. So basically they are connected sets, and whenever E is open, they will be open. So open connected sets means they will be regions. That is components of E will be regions. Now gamma is what? Gamma is actually a cycle, or you can call it as an arc. So any arc is a image of a closed curve. So gamma can be considered as image of a closed curve. So it is a continuous image of a closed curve. So closed interval. So any closed interval is a compact set. So gamma being a continuous image of a compact set will be compact. So gamma will be compact so that it will be closed. Actually, any arc is closed. So as gamma is closed, its complement will be open. So gamma complement is an open set. So when we represent it as disjoint union of its components will be region. So those regions are called regions determined by gamma. So note that as gamma complement is open, components of gamma are regions, which are called, so these regions are called regions determined by gamma. So we call these as regions determined by gamma. So that means omega complement can be represented as disjoint union of regions, right? So omega complement is an open subset of R2, so that it can be represented as disjoint union of its components, where each component is a region. So in simple words, that is omega complement can be represented as disjoint union of regions. So omega complement can be represented as disjoint union of regions. Now Z0 is a point of omega complement. So Z0 will be a point in any of Z0 will be a point of the union, so that it will be a point of at least one element, one term. So what is each term? It is a region. So I'll take that point. So now, so that Z0 belongs to omega complement, then Z0 belongs to omega Z0, where omega Z0 is a region determined by gamma. Sorry, region determined by gamma. Now omega Z0 is a region, so it is open. So Z0 is a point of the set, so it will be an interior point. But then there exists a a neighborhood neighborhood say dz naught such that it contains the point z naught and contained in omega z naught. This is because omega z naught is open. Now, note a very important thing. Note that the function eta gamma z is constant in each of the regions determined by gamma, right? So as I explained earlier, so gamma complement is an open set. So when we express it as union of its components, so those components will be regions, and those regions are called regions determined by gamma. So now, as it is gamma complement, so for all these points will not be on gamma, so that for all points in these regions, index is defined. So this is one region, this is one region, this is one region, right? So gamma complement is union of some regions. So on each region, for points in that region, we can define the index. But on each region, if I consider index of z with respect to gamma, so this will be a constant. This value will be constant for all points in that particular region. So for example, if I consider this is one region, so for all points in this region, the index is same. So if I consider one more region, in that region for all those points, index will be some other constant like this. So the function, so if you consider the index of z with respect to gamma as a function of z, then it will be a constant function for as z varies over any region determined by gamma, right? Now z naught is a point of the region determined by gamma omega z naught, so that, right? And what is the index? And index of z naught with respect to gamma is 0, so index of the all rest of the points in that region has to be 0 once again. So in particular, so it will be true for the neighborhood which is contained in omega z naught. So for all points in dz naught, index of z with respect to gamma is 0, means all these points will be contained in A by our construction. So what that means, so for any point z naught in A, we found a neighborhood around it which is entirely contained in A. So hence A will be open in C. So now consider its complement. So as A is open, its complement will be closed. What is its complement? So it is the set of all those complex numbers whose index is non-zero with respect to gamma. So I have considered the complement of A, so which is closed in C, right? Now let C be any circle with suitable radius, which encloses gamma. So in the region omega, we have the cycle gamma. So gamma is a cycle, means it is a continuous image of a closed interval, right? So closed interval is a compact set. So it is a continuous image of a closed interval, so that it will be compact. So gamma is compact, means gamma is closed and bounded. So gamma will be bounded. So for any bounded set, we can find a circle which encloses that set. So in analysis, we can observe that any bounded set can be enclosed in some circle. Now, since gamma is bounded, since gamma is bounded, it can be enclosed. It can be enclosed in a circle. So I have taken that circle as C. So gamma is inside C now. Now for all points outside C, so gamma will not enclose those points. So index will be 0. Then index of Z with respect to gamma will be 0 for all points outside C. Outside C. So I can call it as exterior of C. So for all points in the exterior of C, index is 0. So that is for all points in the exterior of C, the index is 0. But all those points are considered in the set A. So exterior of C will be contained in A. So now taking complement on both sides. So whenever A is contained in B, B complement will be contained in A complement. So as exterior of C is contained in A complement will be contained in complement of this set. So what is complement of exterior of C? So this is the circle C. So outside C, if I consider outside C, so what is the complement of it? Then it is the circle C and interior of the circle C. So circle and interior of circle, where C naught is the interior of circle C. So observe that A complement is contained in C and C interior, which is a bounded region. So which is bounded, which is bounded. So that A complement is closed and bounded. So that is A complement is a closed and bounded subset of C. So as it is closed and bounded subset of C, it is R2. By Heine-Borel theorem, it is compact. So and hence A complement is compact. Right. Now, so what we have to prove? So actually we were proving that eta gamma ij is non-zero for only finitely many values of j. So to prove this, assume the contradiction. Suppose eta gamma aj is non-zero for infinitely many values. For infinitely many values of j. Then consider all those aj's for which index is non-zero. Then they will be infinite in number, and all those points will be points of A complement. That is, then the set of all such ages is an infinite subset of the compact set A complement. But then by a result, so a result says that every infinite subset of a compact set will have a limit point in that compact set. So since the set of all such ages is an infinite subset of the compact set A complement, so this set will have a limit point in A complement. So then this set will have a limit point in A complement, say Z dash. So that is Z dash is a limit point of set of all those ages with respect to which the index is non-zero. So Z dash is a limit point of this set. Now since, so where is Z dash? Z dash is a point in A complement. So index of Z dash with respect to gamma is non-zero, so that z dash should be in omega, right? Because so if z dash does not belongs to omega, then z dash will be in omega complement, right? And since gamma is homologous to 0 with respect to omega, so index of gamma with respect to z dash will be 0, because as gamma is homologous to 0, index of all points in the complement of omega will have index will be 0 with respect to gamma. So if at all z dash is in the complement of omega, then index has to be 0, but it is a contradiction as index is non-zero. So z dash has to be in omega. Also, z dash is different from all ages. Z dash is different from all ages. This is because any AJ is an isolated point of the set of all ages with index is non-zero. So if I consider any point in this set, so AJ is what actually it is an isolated singularity. That means it is basically a isolated point of this set, whereas Z dash is a limit point. So Z dash is a limit point of this set, and each point in this set is a isolated point. So any isolated point cannot be equal to limit point. So Z dash is a point of omega different from AJ. So Z dash is a point of omega which is different from all isolated singularities. So at Z dash, f of z has to be analytic. So then f of z is analytic at Z dash. So this is because Z dash is a point of omega which is other than ages. So it will be a point of omega dash, so that in which there are no singularities. So at Z dash, f of z has to be analytic, right? So as f of z is analytic at the point Z dash, there exists a neighborhood, but then there exists a neighborhood say n of z dash in which f is analytic. This is by definition of analyticity at a point. Analyticity at a point. So if any function is analytic at a point, it means that there is a neighborhood around it in which f is analytic. So f is analytic at z dash means that there is a neighborhood n around it in which f is analytic. But since z dash is a limit point of the set of all ages whose index is 0 with respect to gamma. So as z dash is a limit point of this set, every neighborhood of z dash should contain infinitely many points of aj. In particular, n should contain infinitely many points of the set of all ages, right? So if n contains infinitely many points ages, what are ages? They are basically singularities of f. So if n contains infinitely many singularities of f cannot be analytic in n. So we are getting two contradictory statements. So this statement is telling that f is analytic in the neighborhood n, but this statement is telling that n contains infinitely many isolated singularities. So which is a contradiction. which is a contradiction. And this contradiction proves the claim. So thus, so eta gamma aj will be non-zero only for finitely many values of j. So this claim assures that gamma can enclose only finitely many isolated singularities, so that this index will be non-zero only for finitely many values of j. So only for those values of j we'll consider the summation, because for rest of the j values our index will be 0, so the term will vanish to 0. So the summation value will not depend on that 0 terms. So this claim is very important in considering the Cauchy's residue theorem for only finitely many isolated singularities. So this completes the Cauchy's residue theorem and a very important claim which we have used in that theorem.